All right, I think we are about ready to begin. I want to say good morning and good afternoon to everyone on the East Coast. Thank you so much for joining us. We have another great turnout for our latest webinar in the NIMBL lecture series, Breaking Down Solution Manager 7.2. I'm Jake Eisbart, part of the NIMBL marketing team. A little bit about us before we start. We are SAP technologists, at NIMBL, and SAP ecosystem thought leaders. Our consulting business, which is 50% of our work, delivers SAP projects, both technical and functional, while our Denver-based SAP managed services, the other 50%, supports both Fortune 1000 and Midmarket 24/7 across 20-plus skill sets. Here are a list of some of the services that we offer. Obviously, today we will be discussing Solution Manager 7.2, and here are a list of some of the customers that we work with. Just a couple housekeeping items. We want to be able to answer as many questions as possible. So if you see the chat box in the lower left, please feel free to ask any questions that you like, and they will be answered at the end of the presentation. If the presentation does run a little bit long, feel free to stick around. We'll run another 5-10 minutes just to make sure that we hit all the questions. And some people have already asked, are we going to receive a copy of the presentation? Yes, everybody will be receiving an edited version of the presentation. So you needn't worry about it. If we skip over something, everybody will receive it as soon as we are finished. All right, so let's start it up. Our speakers today are Steve Christian and Jereme Swoboda. Steve Christian is the Solution Manager and Test Manager practically here at NIMBL. He's got over 15 years of hands-on functional and technical expertise. He supported countless clients across a variety of industries for customers both Fortune 500 and mid-market. He specializes in delivering solutions in application lifecycle management, quality assurance, business process redesign, integration process transformations, and project management as well. Our second speaker is going to be Jereme Swoboda. He's an experienced SAP Solution Manager and NetWeaver consultant, focusing on proactive technical monitoring of SAP and non-SAP systems, supporting critical business processes, and he's actually the author of the upcoming SAP Press book, Upgrading to SAP Solution Manager 7.2. We will be offering a promo code at the end, so you can take advantage of 10% off if you'd like. And let's start it up. Before we begin, we want to kind of get a lay of the land to see where you are with Solution Manager 7.2 and actually with Hana as well. So we're just going to run a couple poll questions before we start. Our first poll question is, you'll see it, we are planning an upgrade to Solution Manager 7.2 in 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, or we are not currently planning an upgrade. All right, we have a lot of responses coming in. I'm going to give people a couple seconds to fill out. Looks like it's pretty even between 3 and 6 months. A lot of people are going to be within a year, which is great. All right, just a couple more seconds on that as people fill it out. All right, seems like we've leveled out. All right, and the second question is going to be, what is your current S4 HANA schedule? Are you currently reviewing S4? Are you looking for a system integrator? You need some more information on it, or you are not currently looking into S4 HANA? All right, that's great. We have a lot of people who are currently reviewing it. Some of you need some more information on it. Okay, I'll give you a couple more seconds to fill that out. Great. All right, so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our first speaker, Steve Christian. Steve, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much, Jake, and thank you everybody that has attended this, is attending this webinar. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to share my perspective on Solution Manager 7.2, and I'll try to do my best to kind of break down exactly what I see as, the changes in Solution Manager 7.2 and why those changes have been brought in, and how they can actually help you in managing your IT processes in your organization. So what we will cover is, as you know, this webinar is kind of like a precursor to the SOG University event that we are holding, which is we're going to allow customers an opportunity to, to basically learn about the new functionality in Solution Manager 7.2. We're actually going to give customers the opportunity to try their hands-on experience on Solution Manager 7.2 in various areas like content activation, configuration, using Solman setup, looking at the Solution Manager landscape and best practices around that. The new solution documentation, right? Everybody's heard about it. We're getting away from the three-tier hierarchical structure and all of that good stuff, and there's a new business process modeling tool. So in these sessions, you will actually be able to get your hands onto the business process modeling tool and maybe build a process or two. We'll then also look at change control management, or CHARM, in your environment. And then we'll finally get a look at the new test management suite, which, for those customers that have been following 7.2 through the ramp-up phase and now into general availability, with Service Pack 3, there's a new test management suite that has come out. So all of that will be configured. You'll get an opportunity to be in your own Solution Manager instance and try these different tools out. Currently, what's on the calendar, we have 2 sessions. The latest update is that both of them have been sold out, but the first one is September 27th, 28th, and the next one is for October 4th and 5th. We're currently looking to see if we can add more seats in there to accommodate a few more customers. So if you are interested, please feel free to go on to the SOG University site and try to register for these events. I promise you it'll be a really good experience in Solution Manager 7.2. Okay, so getting into what's new in Solution Manager, right? Way back when, when I just graduated from college and I was trying to make a decision as to, which technology I should really get into, I made a decision to go into SAP purely because, SAP seemed to have the right mix. They listened to their customers. They were developing products to basically help their customers. They were in the ERP space while others were still in the MRP space. And here we go with Solution Manager 7.2. You can see that they have really improved the tool. Now, SAP likes to call it stunning. That's why I've kept it in quotes. But there has been a tremendous amount of transformation that has been made in Solution Manager 7.2. So for those that attended Sapphire in May of this year, the new buzzword that came out from SAP was digital transformation. Right? So SAP, again, listened to its customers and realized that, customers are no longer just interested in buying software. They want services with it. They want to buy the entire package. So and Solution Manager 7.2 is basically what they put at the forefront of, okay, so from a support and services perspective, right, we're going to go digital. So we're not only going to sell you the software, but we're also going to give you the ability to take a look at all the different innovations, not only in Solution Manager, but across all the different products that we provide. And then digitally, you can try those solutions out, figure out if this is innovation that you want to bring into your organization, and then apply it to your organization. So Solution Manager 7.2 is the digital business services delivery platform that SAP is now pushing forward, and there has been a transformation. It's gone from being just a support line tool to now actual corporate usage. So where everything was focused around the run side of the house, you had the ICC, the OCC, etc. Now they have actually said, let's involve the business. Right? Let's make this tool a corporately used tool. Solution Manager 7.1, if you were following it, you know that only 15 ITIL processes were certified in Solution Manager. Now, if you take a look at 7.2, it's certified for all ITIL processes. So there has been a change in Solution Manager 7.2, and it's pretty exciting. Okay, So the paradigm, basically, as I said earlier, is that Solution Manager has now been developed for the entire organization. So, and everything is basically driven by business processes. So the idea there is that we're going to build what the business needs when they need it. IT is no longer going to tell the business, hey, this innovation is available, you can do all of this good stuff. No, let the business themselves take on the responsibility of saying, this is an area where we need to, innovate so that we can have a step up on the competition, right? So everything is now business process driven, and Solution Manager continues to be the single source of truth from a business process perspective, but now not only for IT, but for the entire organization. Okay, so in the second picture that you can see on your screen, you can see that now they basically have value streams not only on the run side of the house, but also on the build side of the house. And Solution Manager 7.2 is now open for integration with a number of third-party tools, and they have given you all the capability of managing your entire business processes from innovation to build to design, build, and then to deploy. Okay, so looking at Solution Manager 7.2 in more detail, how does it support your digital business transformation? Well, they have made certain improvements, and that can be summarized over here in the slide. You have a new user experience. You have process management not only for IT but also for the business. They have brought in requirements management and integrated all of these different modules that are there in Solution Manager, so there's complete transformation. At the same time, this integration supports an agile implementation methodology. So, that's another innovation over there. They have now made Solution Manager available in various models. They have, it's available in the cloud, it's available on-prem, it's available as a hybrid option. And then, Solution Manager is also supporting SAP Hana. So if you are looking at SAP Hana, with Solution Manager, you're going to get free license of Hana. So it might just be what you need to start off with to gain an understanding of how Hana works and how you're going to manage the landscape and all of that good stuff. But all of this has basically been built to drive your digital business. So let's look at some of them, let's step down a few thousand feet again and dig into what are some of the changes that have been made. So as I said, the first innovation is, better user experience, right? So so if you were in Solution Manager 7.1, you would execute, Solman underscore work center or SM underscore work center, and that would take you into the work center screen. Depending on the transaction you use, it would either go into web or it would go into the graphical user interface. All of that is now changed. Everything has been brought into either an SAP UI5 or a Fiori app. So you execute a particular transaction, and there you have the Fiori app that's available for you. Any business-facing UIs, mobile apps are also now SAP UI5 and Fiori. Everything in Solman. So for customers that have been using Charm, for instance, yes, the change document used to open up in web, but you go into the task list and you're back into the graphical user interface. All of that has changed now. Everything is, as they say, in web, and a number of dashboards can be built based on, by application, cross-application, or roles. So that's pretty nice. So the overall look and feel of Solution Manager 7.2 has changed and is really good. From a one process landscape perspective, to get the business and the IT team to be working together, they have now gone to a solution. For customers that currently are still using 7.1, you know that everything was project and solution driven. So, but while customers built their business processes in a project, they never really got to a stage where they took it to a solution. Well, SAP has changed that now. Everything is a solution, and what you have is branches to a solution. So the production branch, which is usually locked, is your golden understanding of what your business processes are in your environment. The operations branch is where you would run things such as technical monitoring and all of that good stuff. The maintenance branch is where you are working on your day-to-day stuff, so minor enhancements for the company, etc. Right? And then you have development branch, which is where you truly do the innovation. So for instance, if you wanted to pull in the best practices for S/4HANA, you would pull that into an innovation branch, and then you would study it, you would make modifications to it, and then once you're ready, and obviously infrastructure changes have been made as well, you'd be able to move your new business processes and the configuration associated with it up to the production branch. So it's one landscape that the business and IT is going to work in. Okay? Moving further, we get into the transparency that's been brought in. So as I was saying earlier, right, all of the different tools that are now available in Solution Manager have been integrated so that there is complete transparency from requirements all the way to deployment. So, there's full integration from demand, projects, process, change and release management, and delivery for, to support continuous delivery, integration, and DevOps. And the modules that are available, are requirements, project, process, change control, release, test management, and custom code management. And we will get into these a little more. Okay, so let's start off with process management, right? This is the talk of the town. Basically, you have everybody saying, "Hey, solution documentation in Solution Manager has changed." It's a web-based experience. You are no longer limited to a three-level hierarchical structure. It's basically all columns. You can have as many columns as you want to, so you can build your business processes out as deep as you want to take it. If you are still, there is a business process modeling tool that's available with Solution Manager 7.2, and it conforms to the BPMN 2.0 standards. But even if you choose to integrate it with an AIRS tool, because you still have AIRS and all of your processes, your models are over there, you can now, because you're not limited to just the three levels. So your EPC diagrams don't, you don't have to basically say all of these different levels are going into one level in my hierarchical structure, right? And then your business processes are now going to be based on actual usage. So while in Solution Manager 7.1, you had the reverse business process documentation tools, now all you're going to do is you're going to, based on actual usage, populate your libraries, and then you're going to utilize artifacts from within your libraries, so be it your development objects, your executable objects, your documentation. They're all going to be available in various libraries, and then you take that and define your business processes. So you're not having to replicate your business processes again and again. All the artifacts reside in your libraries, which you can reuse again and again. Okay. Now the next slide talks about the modeling tool. This modeling tool is pretty amazing. As I said, it conforms to BPMN 2.0 standards, but you can build models from various perspectives. And keeping in line with the integration between all of your different modules, you can basically build out your business processes from an end user perspective. You can also build out your business processes from a system perspective if you are interested in things such as technical monitoring and business process monitoring, etc. So that is a real step forward, because now you have all of these different tools and you can look at your business processes from all of these different perspectives. Okay. Moving on further, I alluded to this earlier. If you're looking at things such as S4 Hana, SAP has made a lot of content available to you. All you can do is go into Solution Manager 7 to download the best practices packages from the web onto your Solution Manager. You're able to evaluate the best practices for S4 Hana, figure out the changes that you need to make, and then you can actually implement it in your environment. So that's another big advantage of upgrading to Solution Manager 7.2. Okay, just a couple of notes down here prior to you actually going and downloading some of these best practice packages. You would need to apply these notes into your Solution Manager 7.2 environment to be able to do that. And the screenshots over here of some of the best practices that I downloaded and took a look at. All right. The next module, which again is new and drives the whole point of requirements to deploy, right? So in Solution Manager 7.1, there was no way of capturing requirements. It was built, Solution Manager 7.1 was only helping the run side of the house, really not helping the build side of the house. Now you have requirements management, and you are able to capture business requirements. Business requirements become IT requirements, which can go through an approval process. And then once they're approved, they can then be submitted to the project team for creation of a project. By the way, Solution Manager 7.2 has a completely enterprise level IT portfolio and project management tool now that's available in Solution Manager 7.2. So the project has tasks. Those tasks can become change documents that your IT team can then work on. Okay, so that is how the flow of the requirements goes. And as you can see here, your business team can be as involved as they want to. So if you have a business team that's pretty technologically savvy, right, they can be the ones that are going and actually doing the research, taking a look at some of the innovations that are available to you from SAP, right? And they could actually be creating the business process models of what they would like it, the future state to look like. And then they could hand that over to your IT team to say, okay, this is what we need. Now take a look at how you can do it. Can these innovations be brought in, etc. So basically, you capture business requirements, hand it over to IT, make change documents out of it, work on it, and move it into your solution. Okay. Real quick. Oops, sorry, clicked too far. These are just screenshots of what the new requirements screens look like. So you have the screen just below, just above the My Requirements is what the business users will see. And they can just capture the requirements as, simple text, right? It could be a one-liner, or they could get more involved and add an attachment which details things out. Or they could go into solution documentation and model their process out as well. Once they create their requirements, they submit it, and it goes to IT, and the IT team will basically triage what the requirements is, propose solutions, etc. So if you take a look at it closely, the IT requirements is a whole new transaction within the change and control management or CHARM tool itself. So screens are very similar, the workflow is very similar, the approval within it is very similar. You can connect it to solution documentation and all of that good stuff. Okay, so that's a nice segue into change and control management. A lot of customers have implemented Charm, right? And we're looking at, so what's the changes in Solution Manager 7.2 from a change in control management perspective? Well, besides the new business requirements document type and the IT requirements of document type, everything else has stayed the same. So you still have RFCs, requests for change. You still have normal change, urgent change, general change, admin change, and defect corrections. None of that has changed. The workflow has not changed. The screens for the change document stays the same. So the overall process and the UI is exactly the same. What is changing, though, is, if I mentioned this earlier, at some point you would be in a web screens. When you click on the, the M transaction or the H transaction to try and get into the task list, that's when you would see the graphical user interface. Well, all of that has changed now. Now the task list is available from the UI itself. Okay, and they have created administration cockpit, which controls everything centrally. So you can see your the task list in the UI, and you can perform your administration activities centrally for all of your different, well, it used to be known as projects in 7.1, now it's known as solutions, from that central administration cockpit. Okay, so that's the next change, right? The projects no longer exist in Solution Manager, at least not from the solution documentation and change management perspective. Now you're working in solutions. And SAP again here, right? They listen to their customers. A big reason why customers were struggling with implementing Charm was the release management portion of it, right? You have these different phases that you have to go through, from in development without release to in development with release, and then test and go live and all of that good stuff, right? And customers have gotten into the bad habit of releasing stuff into production every day. All of that was very confining. Now SAP has simplified that and brought in new release cycles. The first one being, well, we'll get into that later. So some of the other things that they have done in change control management is, obviously they have revamped how release management works. That has helped customers reduce will help customers reduce some of their custom code that they did to avoid some of the constraints of release management. There is a stronger integration with solution documentation, so you can basically now link up things, at the process step, or you could take it higher. You could do multiple linkages and stuff like that. There is the integration, obviously, to the IT portfolio and project management, and then the administration cockpit, which now centralizes everything. Okay, so when I say that it centralizes everything, right? Firstly, yeah, it's no longer in the UI. Now, if you remember in 7.1, when you did things such as downgrade protection, the errors would show up on your change document, right? You would clear out the errors. You would ignore them, right? I don't want to waste time looking at the downgrade protection. I don't care about production, right? So, but then, and you try to move your transport, and you would still fail. That's because you had to then go into the maintenance cycle section to take a look at the downgrade protection checks over there, and then clear those checks. Well, now what you can do with the central administration tool is all of these different checks show up right centrally. So it's not like you're trying and trying again to try and move your transport. It's all visible centrally across all of your different solutions, or branches of solutions, I should say. Right? There is the new task list UI. There's new transport analysis features, which is I was just talking about. And you can do your scheduling of the move of your transports all from the central cockpit itself. Okay. So here we talk about release management and the different cycles that are now available. You have the continual cycle, which will pretty much allow you to move transports into production whenever you want to, obviously I would like to place in a little asterisk over there. And then there's the phase-driven deployment, which is, again, you have to do the different phases of that cycle. And then you have the release management, which helps you, which you would typically use for a larger project. So the continual cycle, if you are a solution, if you're using Solution Manager 7.1 and you have Charm implemented, when you are going to upgrade to 7.2, there's a content activation step that you have to perform. And over there, you're then going to define that anything that is in an urgent change, will have to go to a project that basically has the continual cycle. Anything that uses the normal change is going to use the phase-driven cycles. Okay, and for larger projects, so when you say you were going to implement a whole different tool set to work with your ERP environment, that would normally go into a separate implementation project that you can now put into a release management cycle. And the good part about the release management cycle is that it will allow you phased deployment of your changes. So you can have multiple phases on your project, and you can deploy stuff into production by those different phases on your project. Okay. Going on further, there are some minor, I shouldn't say minor, but there are certain changes that have been made from a CTS perspective. And CTS has come a long way since, it was CTS. It became Enhanced CTS to basically allow for Java changes to be moved as well. Now we're up to, CCTS, Centralized CTS. And there are a few changes that have been made. Domain links are no longer required. Now, Enhanced CTS did not require domain links, but now Central CTS doesn't require domain links as well. From the perspective of, uneven landscapes, so, you have ERP and you have Dev, QA, Pre-Prod, Prod, but then you put the CRM landscape into the picture and you don't have a Pre-Prod, and then Charm would struggle when you would try to move a CRM transport at a particular status. Now, with the enhancements made to CCTS, the uneven landscapes are fully supported. Another issue that customers used to have is when they had to make landscape changes, you have to go ahead and close out your maintenance cycle, make the SDMS changes, modify the logical components, put them back in, or replace them in the project, and then reactivate the maintenance cycle. Well, now as long as the dev and the prod systems stay the same, you can on the fly remove QA systems, pre-prod systems from your logical components. All you got to do is once you make the changes, just regenerate your task list, and everything would be is good. Okay. So just a few changes over there. From a reporting perspective, again, you have the standard reporting that is available within Solution Manager. Now there is more capabilities from a BI perspective to store all of your data and create BW reports to basically report on it. The central administration cockpit adds a lot of functionality from transport analysis, sequence dependencies, since it's all central. So there's some enhancements that have been made there as well. Finally, we come to the test management suite. So as I said, the test management suite was not available for ramp-up customers that were either in SP01 or SP02. But with general availability, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and Service Pack 3, the test management suite has been included in Solution Manager 7.2. SAP is basically saying that you no longer need any other test management suite to support your SAP testing. The test management suite should be able to support SAP, non-SAP, and hybrid solutions. Again, I would place a little asterisk over there. The test management suite integrates with all of your different modules within Solution Manager. and it fully supports unit testing, integration testing, and regression. So again, the Launchpad, you have in your Launchpad, you will have your test management work center. So all of that has been laid out. And you can, so let's take a look at what's included in the test management suite. Obviously, solution documentation. You'll have your library, your process step library, and you'll have your business processes defined. For any of that, you will be able to then also store your test scripts. Manual test scripts can either be Word or Excel. Automated test scripts you would create and also store within Solution Manager. The test plan management has always been there in Solution Manager. So you can create a test plan, break it out into packages, assign it to testers, sequence the execution of those test scripts, automate the execution of those test scripts, and then the reporting and analytics has always been there. Change impact analysis will be done through Business Process Change Analyzer, and that is for changes that are small for optimizations. For larger changes like support packs and enhancement packs, there is a scope and effort analyzer, which by the by still utilizes the BPCA to do the change impact analysis. So from a test automation perspective, SAP's take is that CVTA, component-based test automation, is going to be your primary test automation tool for all platforms, SAP only. And if you need to do end-to-end testing, then you can, If you need to do end-to-end testing, then there are third-party tools that will be supported that you will need to purchase and leverage for end-to-end testing. Customers have a lot of questions about, hey, we invested in the adapter and we're syncing our business processes from Solution Manager into HP ALM. We have a lot of test scripts built in there. SAP said they're going to tear that up. Actually, no. The adapter is still going to work. It's still going to be supported, except it's no longer going to be supported by SAP. As you can see here, they're going to support it by, it's now going to be supported by a third-party vendor, so HP for the adapter. And if you're using third-party tools, HP is supported as well as WorkSoft Certify. Okay. So here's the screen on, solution documentation, how you can create your test plan and test packages. We're running a little low on time, so I'm going to breeze through this faster. The test management suite, as you can see, CVTA is for test automation. And if you have any third-party tools that you need to automate a particular step in it, you can use a tool like HP UFT, which used to be known as QTP. And now you are able to basically hand over the data between a CVTA test script and a UFT test script. So that enhancement allows you to do end-to-end process testing. Okay. Custom code management, and this is the last topic that I will talk about from a tools perspective. Custom code management is relatively untouched since 7.1 and 7.2. SAP still wants you to, basically look at these options. So the first one, and has provided you tools in the custom code management area. So they want you to take a look at your custom code, analyze the stuff that's being used and not being used, talk to the business, and basically remove it. Try to avoid custom code. While it's not a bad thing to have custom code, it obviously adds overhead to your organization from a maintenance perspective. So there are tools to basically help you avoid it. And then, as far as possible, try to leverage the innovations being provided to you by SAP. So they have given you tools to basically look at your custom code and figure out if it's similar to any new functionality that's been provided to you by SAP. So looking at custom code management, basically, again, the overarching paradigm over there is transparency. They've given you a number of tools from a quality perspective, from a severity, understanding the severity of the usage of your custom code perspective, the quality, and the criticality of your custom code. Okay. Finally, let's talk about Solution Manager. As I said earlier, Solution Manager is available in various flavors and can be consumed in various flavors. You have Solution Manager for the cloud. So that means if you have cloud applications, success factors, etc., that basically require management through Solution Manager, that is now possible. So build, deploy, and run for cloud products is possible. Then you have Solution Manager with cloud. That means you have an on-prem, and you're basically utilizing things such as maintenance planners for your upgrade, etc. You're downloading best practice packages. You're doing your S/4HANA ready checks. That's possible in the on-prem model. And then you have SAP Solution Manager on the cloud itself. And there you can leverage things such as the Cloud Appliance library, etc. Okay, real quick, I didn't want to miss this point. If you're upgrading to Solution Manager 7.2, you might just want to look at leveraging Hana. First of all, and I just gave you 3 points over here for considering it. There's a performance increase with solution documentation. It was always a bear to try and find documents within the hierarchical structure. If you go with Hana with the inbuilt TREX capabilities, now the text search function capabilities are going to be a whole lot faster if you do implement Hana. The license for Hana for Solution Manager is free. It's part of your service agreement, so why not leverage it? And then it can be a door opener for S/4HANA. So increase your team's S/4HANA knowledge, kickstart the preparation of S/4HANA operations. Okay. Another important point about the whole digital transformation and delivery of digital content to your organization for better innovation is the Cloud Appliance library. So a number one hurdle for customers when it came to implementing new products was basically how long it's going to take to set up the infrastructure, etc. Well, now SAP has given you what's known as the Cloud Appliance library, or CAL, and you can instantly deploy some of these solutions directly in the cloud, right? So you have Solution Manager 7.2 there. You have some of the S/4HANA processes that have already been deployed over there. Your organization, including the business, can basically log in, take a look at the innovations. If everything looks good, you feel this is something you want to implement, just transfer that content over into your on-prem Solution Manager, and then deploy that after massaging it and making certain changes. Okay, so I don't want to beat the dead horse, and we are running low on time, so I'm going to hand it over to Jereme.
All right. Actually, before we hand it over to Jereme, we just want to thank you very much, Steve, for Solution Manager 7.2 presentation on that. Just want to make sure everybody got as much information, and as I mentioned, everybody will be receiving a copy of it. So if you'd like more information on Solution Manager 7.2, just fill out yes into the checkbox. We'll let that fill up just for a couple seconds. Everybody be filling in. All right. I'll give it a little bit more time. There's a lot of people on the line, so. All right. A couple more seconds on that. Great. And finally, are you interested in setting up a demo on Solution Manager 7.2? Let people fill that out as well. All right. So we have everybody in, and I'm going to turn it over at this point to Jereme. Jereme, take it away.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for everyone for joining our presentation today. As with most things, there's two sides to every coin. Steve and I work well together. He handles more of the functional aspect, the pretty side, I'm sure the side most everyone looks forward to, but then you also have the technical side, what I usually handle. So that's what I'll be covering today. As Steve already mentioned, one of the large things that has changed is the UI has been enhanced by bringing in Fiori and dashboards based on SAP UI 5. So one of the major things that you'll see during an upgrade is that you will be including the Fiori components within the upgrade. They will introduce things like the Solution Manager Work Center home screen that you see here. All of the work centers are now displayed with the Fiori tiles. When you select the tile, it will open up the work center with a new form and feel similar to Fiori. With technical monitoring and a number of other dashboards, they've definitely enhanced the dashboards, bringing in SAP UI 5. This is an example of the technical monitoring dashboard. Definitely enhanced, giving you a better graphical display of a managed systems landscape. The hosts within it and how they're connected and the status of those connections between those hosts. So, introducing SAP UI 5 and Fiori has really enhanced the usability and functionality of all the dashboards, including things like technical monitoring. Unfortunately, SAP really focused heavily on the business side and the business uses for Solution Manager. So you won't see dramatic changes within technical monitoring. They did add functionality to monitoring, applications in the cloud. So there is that. But I imagine now that they've actually released 7.2 with coming support packs, I imagine they will be, bringing new enhancements to the other functionalities that we all use so frequently. As Steve mentioned, Solution Manager 7.2 utilizes Hana as well. So keep in mind, when you're planning an upgrade to 7.2, you're going to want to think about migrating to Hana, but also plan out your strategy as far as the upgrade process, because the actual process, the technical side of the upgrade, includes the upgrade, the splitting of the dual stacks, and then the actual migration to Hana. So you are going to be looking at a longer, upgrade process and more time to get it done, but definitely worth the additional man hours to get it done, because it definitely speed up Solution Manager, especially in relation to things that Steve talked about, like Charm, ITSM, speed up the queries that they all run off of. One of the big things that everyone hears about, right, with going to NetWeaver 7.4, the dual stack now gets split. So during the actual upgrade process, you're going to upgrade Solution Manager, and then using Software Provisioning Manager, you're actually going to split the stacks. And then from there, you have the option to migrate to Hana. As far as CRM is not a full upgrade. It is simply introduction of an Enhancement Pack 3. So definitely introducing new functionality with CRM Enhancement Pack 3, but it's not a full upgrade. Some changes that you will see with the Landscape Management Database. They have revamped the concepts of solutions, logical components, and projects. Something many of us basis folks have been looking forward to is the retirement of SMSY. It's a transaction that many of you are probably familiar with that was not very easy to use. They have finally brought in the final two areas that you used to have to manage with 7.1 within SMSY. The migration of product systems out of SMSY into SAP Support Portal. So one of the things that you must do before an upgrade is ensure your product systems are synced with SAP, because you will no longer be able to manage them within Solution Manager after you've upgraded to 7.2. definitely a key part of the upgrade. The other part is bringing in transport domains. In the past with Charm, if you had any changes that had to be made relating to the transport domains, they had to be managed with SMSY. They've now brought that into the LMDB. There's a completely separate tab to that when you open up the landscape management database. So now these two changes have allowed them to retire SMSY. Touching on the changes they made to solutions and logical components. So from now moving forward, most organizations, if not all, will only need one single solution. In the past, you saw clients with multiple solutions. That could complicate and make things more difficult for management, make things more difficult for the functional side like Steve when they're coming in to do different projects on that side. So now only large international corporations may need more than one solution, but even then, it definitely should be analyzed first. So part of that, moving to a single solution, is the content activation. One of the very important steps before you upgrade to 7.2 is determining how you're going to reorganize and go down to one single solution. The next things, you've got logical components are now organized into logical groups. As you can see in this diagram below, you can see logical groups, or logical components are now grouped in under logical groups, allowing you to manage the transport landscapes and everything related to Charm, making it simpler to use. They've also brought in branches, which can be a difficult concept to understand. You'll definitely, the more you use it, the easier it is to understand. Essentially, it's a virtual representation of your systems, similar to a logical component, but definitely not used in the same way. So understanding these new concepts is critical to the upgrade to 7.2 and understanding how you're going to manage all of this, and really learning all this before you even upgrade, because a large part of the upgrade, maybe not a large part, but an important part of the upgrade is the content activation and deciding your solution, what's going to be included in your solution, and how your logical components are going to be grouped together that decision is made before you even upgrade. And that's a big part of what SAP has been pushing with all of their presentations. That's something that you do in 7.1 before you go to 7.2. They've revamped security authorization concepts. They've changed how they handle the roles within Solution Manager. I think it's pretty widely known that handling authorizations for users can be difficult within Solution Manager, considering the large number of different functions, and especially as a basis admin, being able to get access to the right areas of Solution Manager without having too much access can be hard to do. So they have made some changes there to make that simpler. When you log in and you go to Transaction Soulman Setup, when you open up Basic Config or System Prep, if you are missing a role, it will tell you right there that you need an additional role. And it'll tell you what role you need, and you can go to your security team and request it. Or if you're authorized, you can grant it to yourself. The guided procedures within Soulman Setup have been updated slightly. They've added a few new steps that were required for the changes with Solution Manager 7.2. But really, it's a cosmetic change. They've reorganized it, made it more logical, and also added a third guided procedure for setting up Soulman called infrastructure preparation. So now you have system prep, infrastructure preparation, and basic configuration. Like I mentioned, Maintenance Optimizer has been replaced by Maintenance Planner, which is in the cloud. So you will no longer be using Maintenance Planner within Solution Manager. So as many people ask, should we upgrade or should we set up a fresh install? Really, it depends on what you use Solution Manager for now. So some of the top reasons for upgrading would be, are you currently using Solution Manager for any critical business processes like Charm, like a lot of, like Scope and Effort Analyzer? Are you using Charm or, any significant configuration that took a significant amount of time to configure and get running properly? Also, the speed of a fresh install does not always outweigh the amount of time it would take to get that configuration back. So essentially, if you're using Solution Manager significantly now, the upgrade is the best path, because you don't want to have to completely reconfigure everything in a 7.2. So upgrading would be your best option. Reasons for a fresh install would be, are you running Solution Manager 7.0? In that case, the best option really is to abandon 7.0 and just come up with, install a fresh install of Solution Manager 7.2. Or are you only using Maintenance Optimizer or downloading support packs or generating early watch reports? If you're really not using Solution Manager 7.1 for a large amount of activities, then just installing a fresh version of 7.2 would be the fastest, most efficient way of upgrading to 7.2, as the actual upgrade is going to take longer than installing a new version. A couple notes to keep in mind with upgrading from 7.1 Support Pack 1 all the way through 14 is supported. So you don't have to upgrade all the way to 14 just to be able to upgrade to 7.2. So if you are down at Support Pack 8, don't worry about it. You can jump to 7.2. Another tricky part is if you have any of these three components installed, you have a few decisions to make. If you have SAP Adapter, Quality Center, SAP Productivity Pack Adapter, or the SAP One Service Tools, you cannot just immediately upgrade to 7.2. They are not compatible. So for QCA and SPA, they can be uninstalled, and I mentioned the notes here that give you instructions on how to uninstall them so that you can upgrade. If you have OST installed, currently it is not supported to upgrade, and SAP does not have a solution to uninstall it. So if you have that installed, you only have two options. You either need to wait for SAP to provide a solution or abandon your Solution Manager and install a fresh copy of 7.2. And if you read SAP's notes, they have a note on upgrading Solution Manager. It's got a lot of the details in there that you need to know before upgrading. So reviewing that and getting these key details is going to be critical. So, the concept to upgrading, there's a number of things you need to understand, right? We talked about already. You need to make sure you're familiar with the new concepts and changes introduced to 7.2. As with any upgrade, it needs to be a calculated decision and understand what's going to change to the processes that you currently use so that you're prepared. Clearly you're going to want to do that in a development system so that you can test and see how what changes are introduced so you're prepared for upgrading production. Carefully activate content activation, ensuring you've activated all the proper content. There are a number of notes out there that you can find that will give you reports that will list out all of your projects and any content within that, because it's very important to ensure you activate all of your solution documentation into the new versions within 7.2 to ensure they can still be used within 7.2. So researching that and reading about it fully is very important. So overall, being prepared for the upgrade is the best way to ensure a successful upgrade. And that's all I have. Jake, take it from there.
All right, thanks a lot, Jereme. We definitely covered a lot of information. I do want to promote Jereme's new book that's coming out at the end of September. This is the promo code that everybody will receive in the edited version of the presentation that we send you. So if you don't write it down now, don't worry about it. You will be getting it. And also, our next upcoming webinar is going to be on S4 Hana Cloud with it as a software as a service. If you would like to register for an invite or actually be sent an invitation, just type S4 into the chat box, and we'll make sure that you get that. Again, that will be S4 HANA Cloud, SAP's breakthrough software as a service ERP. Again, just type S4 in there. We'll make sure that everybody receives who types in S4 an invitation to register. Okay, great. A lot of people are filling that up. I want to jump right to the questions now, and I want to let people know that if we don't cover your question, we're going to have the speaker stick around for as long as everybody's still on to answer the questions. If your question isn't answered, we will follow up with an email and be sure that we get to you. And upon leaving, we would love it if you filled out any comments. The comment section, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like for us to cover in the future to help us better build our NIMBL lecture series. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Steve and Jereme to begin answering the questions.